Now at 9, Tiny Tiger's Cat Lounge is back in Joplin. We'll take you there. Plus, local artists come together at the Maple and Common Guest House and Gallery to display their art and meet other artists. And an Oklahoma man is recovering after a possible killer bee attack.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Carrie Worthen. 2 teens are dead and 4 others are injured after a shooting in Columbia, Missouri. It happened early this morning at a vacant residence in Oak Brook Drive. Deputies responded to reports of shots being fired and found a party at the residence. Authorities say a verbal altercation escalated into gunfire between 2 groups, resulting in 6 teenagers getting shot. A 16 and 17-year-old were killed. 4 teens between the ages of 16 and 19 received non-life-threatening injuries. No suspects have been arrested yet. A Lamar, Missouri man is arrested for allegedly sharing explicit photographs with an underage girl. The Barton County Sheriff's Office last month began investigating inappropriate communication between the man and girl on social media. Authorities say the man shared the images after evidence was discovered on his personal cell phone. The man was arrested last Wednesday. Police are requesting the charge of sexual exploration of a minor. Meteorologist Chloe Arroyo joins us with a first look at the weather.
Well, temperatures warmed up really nice today and will continue in the next couple of days, hanging around still in the 80s. 80 for Pittsburgh, Stockton at 83, Monette, you're at 79. Iola, you're hanging out at 78 right now, so still very much on the warm side. If you haven't been able to get outdoors, still the opportunity to do so. We'll cool down just a hair into the mid-60s, still feeling very mild outside, lower 64. 10 a.m. we'll reach into the 80s, but we'll have a chance for some isolated showers, which is what I will go into detail on coming up here in a bit. We're going to talk about the storm chances tomorrow and as well as Tuesday. Also, the air quality update. I'll give you the full rundown on that, as well as warmer temps, how long they'll continue. I'll have all the details coming up here in a bit.
Tiny Tigers, the renowned cat-themed lounge and adoption center, has unveiled its latest venture. KOAM Shagun Bamdeli has more.
A pop-up shop that promises to be a feline enthusiast's dream, organized by the Joplin Humane Society, came to life in the form of the Tiny Tigers Lounge and Adoption Center.
This is actually our second day of Tiny Tigers. It's basically an adoption event type thing and a cat lounge. All of the cats here are available for $90, and we're just trying to get some of these cats out of our shelter.
Lee says the event is important because it sheds a light on the amount of animals that do not get adopted.
Because it's getting some exposure for not only the Joplin Humane Society, but also these animals. We're getting to see them outside of a shelter environment and hopefully find them homes. We are caring for 600 plus animals, so it's important, and it is kitten season.
A volunteer says she loves giving her time to help little animals.
I love being a volunteer at the Joplin Humane Society. I'm a student here at KCU, and I just wanted to give back to my community as I'm in school here. I get to walk the dogs, I get to engage with the community and do events like this with Tiny Tigers, so that's been really great.
Caitlin says she has only seen positive interactions from the community.
It's been a great experience so far. I think it really just engages our community, brings people out to see what Tiny Tigers and the Joplin Humane Society is doing. So it's been a great experience. I think it really gets us out in the community so they can see, that we need help. There's a surplus of animals. It's kitten season, so that's been, it's really great just to have people see, what we're all about.
In Joplin, Shagun Bamdeli, KOAM News.
The shelter says so far over 7 cats have been adopted. Local artists met today at the Maple and Common Guest House and Gallery in hopes of claiming top prize. Over 63 pieces of locally crafted art were up on display today at the gallery with members of Joplin Regional Arts Coalition as judges. Officials say the top 3 pieces will land local artists a cash prize and that every piece is up for grabs.
63 unique individual pieces from our artists from the 4 states region. Many of these people are artists. You never know, some of them might be critics. They will be picking their favorite pieces actually throughout the month of June and July.
The event was free and open to the public. Refreshments were provided. An elderly Oklahoma man is recovering from being attacked by hundreds of bees. Not only that, he broke his hip trying to get away from the aggressive swarm. Sarah Smith reports.
A normal Friday morning for 81-year-old Carl Amos, mowing his front yard, then a swarm of bees.
He got off the lawnmower and he started toward our front porch. He thought there was a can of off there, so it was only a few bees, and he thought, well, that would take care of them.
Carl then falling and breaking his hip, his wife Barbara says.
Then he really was in trouble because then more bees were coming and stinging, and he couldn't see and he couldn't really move because of his broken hip.
Barbara says an employee from a business behind their home spots Carl 3 hours later. She was returning from out of town when paramedics got there.
They really saved his life, and we are so eternally grateful for them.
Beekeepers removing the hive on Tuesday.
We heard about these bees and how aggressive they were and how they stung this old man 100 times, and he ended up in the hospital. We thought, well, maybe these are bees that we don't want to keep, that we need to eliminate those kind of bees.
He's really a tough guy. I really have never met him yet because he's in the hospital, but he'd have to be really tough to withstand that many stings.
Barbara says they're expecting to leave the hospital Wednesday and spend a few weeks in rehab because of Carl's broken hip.
I guess if you say a person has grit, he has grit. Once he determines to do something, he does it, and he has extreme faith in God, of course.
Coming up, how a weight loss drug can also help fight other forms of addiction. The U.S. and China cut a deal to import a widely used cancer drug due to a supply chain shortage. The Food and Drug Administration has given Chinese drug maker Quill Pharmaceutical permission to ship cisplatin to the U.S. It's a commonly used chemotherapy drug administered by injection to treat testicular, lung, bladder, cervical, and ovarian cancers. Health officials say cisplatin and carboplatin, which is also given by infusion, are becoming harder and harder to keep in stock. Weight loss medications like Ozempic aren't just helping people shed pounds. Many patients say taking this drug, they've lost interest in addictive behaviors. Megan Terrell reports the science behind these medications may explain how to connect.
These days, Sherry Ferguson has swapped her vape pen for an Ozempic pen.
I thought, I'm not enjoying vaping, so I may as well just put this into the battery bin at work and I'll see how long I can go without it. And that was 54 days ago.
Ferguson started using Ozempic 11 weeks ago to combat weight gained during the pandemic that she says was increasing her risk of diabetes. A smoker for much of her life, Ferguson switched to vaping last July. But after starting Ozempic, she says something changed.
It's like someone's just come along and switched a light on and you can see the room for what it is, and all of these vapes and cigarettes that you've had over the years, they don't look attractive anymore. It's very, very strange, very strange.
Ferguson is one of many patients taking drugs like Ozempic for weight loss who say they've also lost interest in some addictive behaviors. Doctors told CNN that patients most commonly report an effect on alcohol use. It may be because these drugs in a class known as GLP-1s have an effect not just in the gut but also in the brain. It's something being studied at the National Institutes of Health, where researchers just published a paper showing semaglutide, the active ingredient in Ozempic, reduced what they called binge-like alcohol drinking in rodents.
We believe that at least one of the mechanisms how these drugs reduce alcohol drinking is by reducing the rewarding effects of alcohol, such as those related to a neurotransmitter in our brain, which is dopamine. So these medications are likely to make alcohol less rewarding.
And it's not just alcohol and nicotine. Patients have even told The Atlantic it had effects on behaviors like nail biting and online shopping.
There is a lot of overlap on the neurobiological mechanism that regulate addictive behaviors in general. So it's possible that medications like semaglutide, by acting on this specific mechanism in the brain, they may help people with a variety of addictive behaviors.
Clinical trials in humans are needed to prove that. One set is underway at the University of North Carolina, looking at semaglutide's effect on alcohol and tobacco use. Sherry Ferguson says Ozempic has helped her lose 38 pounds. Even better, she says, is how it's made her feel.
The weight that it takes off your mind is far greater than any pounds that can come off your body.
Chloe is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, Brock Baldwin will have highlights from the regional sports from this weekend.
You know, I don't say this very often as someone who really loves the heat, but it was almost a little too hot today with temperatures in the upper 80s. Let's take a look at our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just west of Seneca, Missouri. Oddly enough, it's clear outside, but that blue sky is still hidden behind the poor air quality that we have going on right now. So across the board, there have been 3 reports of some moderate air quality alerts. That means the air is not entirely safe. Ideally, we would like it in that green zone around the good range. But once it gets into the moderate and even to the unhealthy for certain sensitive groups, that's when it could get a little bit on the sketchy side, a little dangerous for people with sensitive lungs and breathing of any of that sort. So kind of stay indoors for just a hair longer as we head into the rest of the evening. Temperatures in the 80s, lower 80s, Pittsburgh at 80 degrees, Monette still hanging around into the 70s, Lamar at 82, and Chanute hanging around at 82 degrees as well. So this temperature is still on the very, very warm side. We topped out into the upper 80s this afternoon and will only cool down into the mid 60s. Your low tonight for Joplin, 64 degrees, but will warm up pretty swiftly. Once again, 10 a.m. will be at 80 degrees, but we'll still have some isolated chances for showers and storms. But even with that, we still have a really high UV index. That'll be a 9 out of 10. So burn time, if you're outdoors, 15 to 25 minutes between those breaks with those isolated showers and storms, which I'll break down here in just a second. Thankfully, our drought has lessened quite a bit for our folks off into the east. But we still have a lot of very significant drought going on for our folks off into the west. Howard, Sedan, Windsor, you guys are all in that exceptional range for drought conditions. Now, luckily tomorrow we'll still see some more relief with the isolated chance for some showers and storms. We'll wake up clear in the morning, lower 60s, Joplin 62, and then we'll warm right up into the upper 80s once again, and we'll have some more scattered showers and pop-up storms. They'll pop up really fast. They'll dissipate really fast as well. Same setup for Tuesday, a little less significant. Tuesday morning, you'll wake up on the clear side once again, lower 60s. You'll wake up in the morning, and then in the afternoon hours, we'll see some scattered showers and a couple thunder boomers along with that as well. Then Wednesday, we'll begin to see that break begin to start. So here's a look at the rest of the week. Temperatures in the upper 80s, and then we're cooling down just a hair. Lower 80s, upper 70s by the end of next week into the beginning of the following week. But our chances for rain Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then into the next weekend, we'll see another isolated chance for some storms.
So isolated means don't cancel your plans.
Yes.
But also keep an eye out.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
All right, thank you, Chloe.
Of course.
Coming up, we'll take a look at the job report from May and where the rate of unemployment rests. U.S. markets soared Friday as Wall Street cheered the debt ceiling bill in the latest monthly jobs report, which showed the U.S. economy added an astronomical 339,000 jobs in May. All 3 major indexes ended this week higher, with the Dow jumping 700 points Friday to post its best one-day gain since January. Christine Romans has more on the strong job report.
The U.S. job market showing few signs of slowing down just yet. Another month of historically strong job creation, and April and March were also revised higher, bringing this year's job gains to 1.6 million. For context, hiring is now outpacing pre-pandemic levels. Just shy of 2 million jobs were added in all of 2019. Now, the hiring in the month was broad-based in offices, labs, tech centers, hospitals, nursing homes, bars, restaurants, construction sites, and government offices. The jobless rate jumped 0.3% to 3.7%. That's the highest since October, but it's still in this historically low 3.4 to 3.7% range. Now, economists say the jobless rate rose partly because more Americans permanently lost their jobs, and more people entered the workforce. A milestone of sorts for women, the share of women aged 25 to 54 in the job market hit an all-time high. Two possible reasons. Hybrid work gives more women flexibility to return to the workforce. Also, high inflation might be making it a necessity for more women to work. In a potential worrying sign, the black unemployment rate jumped from a record low of 4.7% in April to 5.6% in May. Annual wage growth slowed to a still strong 4.3%. It's cooling, but after 14 months now of rate hikes, the labor market is remarkably resilient here. Since the Federal Reserve began raising interest rates 14 months ago to cool the economy and slow down the jobs market and inflation, the economy has added an astonishing 5.1 million jobs. In New York, I'm Christine Romans.
Meta Platforms is requiring employees to be in office more often. The parent company of high-tech businesses like Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp says certain staffers will now have to report to the office 3 days a week. A report says Meta's current average days spent in office is 2.2 days a week. The updated work policy becomes effective in early September. Fully remote employees can continue to work from home. Up next, an Oklahoma driver found a grenade at the lake. We'll hear about the authorities' plan of action. Scuba diving can be a dangerous activity, and that was especially the case for a diver in Oklahoma who found a live grenade. Authorities in Love County say the diver found a live CS or tear gas grenade canister in Lake Murray. The diver reported it, and the Oklahoma Highway Patrol bomb squad was called out to the lake to check it out. They were able to date the grenade to somewhere around the early 2000s. Their team says it will detonate and destroy it off-site at a later date. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, we'll take a look at a new survey that states how U.S. teachers feel about being armed in schools. As President Biden narrowly avoids a debt default crisis, he's facing another challenge: China. A Chinese warship came dangerously close to the U.S. destroyer, passing through the Tijuana Strait that days after a Chinese fighter jet buzzed one of our surveillance planes. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson at the White House with more.
A close call in the Taiwan Strait over the weekend. A Chinese warship cutting in front of an American destroyer at dangerously close range. Many Republicans want to see the White House reverse course with China.
They're increasingly aggressive, revisionist power bent on displacing us as the dominant power in the Pacific and I believe globally. So we need to wake up. By projecting weakness, by pursuing détente with the CCP, we only invite aggression and they will only continue to test our boundaries.
We now have the video of the incident in the Taiwan Strait. A Canadian frigate with journalists aboard was astern of the USS Chunhoon and filmed this Chinese warship cutting across the bow of an American guided missile destroyer at a dangerously close 150 yards, which sounds far when you compare it to a football field or two, but that's very close on the high seas. The incident took place just hours after Biden's defense secretary said the U.S. would not be, quote, bullied by China. The Chinese defense chief snubbed Lloyd Austin at a major defense conference in Singapore, but Chinese officials have taken meetings with other Biden officials. In fact, 2 from the State Department are landing in Beijing Sunday on the 34th anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre. Here's National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan and a rebuttal from Senator Tom Cotton.
We will, I hope, soon see American officials engaging at senior levels with their Chinese counterparts over the coming months to continue that work. And then at some point, we will see President Biden and President Xi come back together again.
Biden administration officials should stop chasing after their Chinese communist counterparts like love-struck teenagers. It's embarrassing and it's pathetic. In fact, it projects weakness to China.
Republican lawmakers, including Senator Cotton, want to see the Biden administration spend more on defense. They say this year's defense budget amounts to a cut when you factor in inflation, and say more money is needed to deter China. At the White House, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Chloe Arroyo joins us with a first look at the weather.
We warmed up really nicely, very warm into the upper 80s across the board, but right now we dipped down a little bit more into the lower 80s, upper 70s, 77 for Pittsburgh. Lamar, you're at 81, Stockton 82, Yates Center, you're hanging around at 80 degrees. As it stands, we'll cool down into the mid 60s into tonight, 64 for your low for Joplin. This evening into the later early morning hours, and then mid-morning hours will reach up into the 80s by 10 a.m. and we'll have some isolated showers and storms even throughout the day. I'll have the timeline on that coming up here in just a bit, but I'll also have an update on the air quality that we're going through right now, and warmer temperatures. I'll tell you how long they're lasting coming up here in a bit.
More than half of the country's teachers believed arming themselves would make students less safe. That's according to a new report from the RAND Corporation that also found that 1 in 5 teachers say they would be interested in carrying a gun to school. The 2022 survey found that 54% of teachers think carrying firearms would make schools less safe. Investigators say Jamie Bell and Nicole Hughes were partners and shared that 1.5-year-old baby girl who was killed. Hughes' other daughter was also shot and being treated at the hospital. Reporter Hannah Coulter tells us how the story unfolded.
Any danger at this point in time obviously is over.
A calm and quiet Saturday taking a tragic turn in Franklin. 35-year-old Nicole Hughes and her 1.5-year-old daughter, Ariella Bell, shot and killed inside their home on Elkin Street.
Sitting watching TV, you hear 5 gunshots.
Investigators believe Hughes' boyfriend and the toddler's father, 42-year-old Jamie Bell, is the one who pulled the trigger.
After Mr. Bell was identified as a suspect, an intensive search began for his whereabouts.
Every road was blocked off. The helicopters were circling our yard, and there was cops running around, and they said there was an active shooter they were looking for.
The AG's office says an hours-long manhunt with the help of state and local police ended with Bell taking his life. His body was found by the Merrimack River with a cut on his neck.
It's just normally a quiet town. You don't expect this.
Neighbors shocked and saddened by the news.
This is a quiet neighborhood. This has always been really a good neighborhood.
Good neighborhood to go outside, run around, play football.
My heart is broke for the family. I don't know them, but I have a lot of compassion. I can't imagine, and I never want to.
Investigators say Bell also shot Hughes' 5-year-old daughter. She was taken to a Boston area hospital and is expected to recover.
Still ahead, how the Chicago Police Department is combining mental health and law enforcement through the use of technology.
Well, it was a toasty one today, but pretty soon here, maybe we'll see some more bearable temperatures. Not cool by any means, but bearable nonetheless. Let's take a look at our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just west of Seneca, Missouri. The sky, beautiful sunset, but we can't see it as well with this air quality that we're seeing. It's kind of in the moderate range right now. We've had 3 reports in Joplin, a little further northeast, and in far northeast Oklahoma around the Miami area. We've seen those air quality levels decline, so we're in that moderate range. Luckily, we're not in that zone where it's unhealthy for sensitive groups, but it's still something to keep in mind as you're out and about this afternoon into the evening hours. So temperatures have cooled down just a hair, not by any means. We're still in the 80s for a lot of people. Carthage is one of them at 84, Pittsburgh 77, Fort Scott 81, Sedan, you're also hanging around at 81 off to the west as well. So we cooled down, but we were really warm this afternoon into the upper 80s. We'll cool down a little bit more into the 60s, 64 for your low for Joplin, and then we'll warm up pretty swiftly once again. 10 a.m. we'll see 80 degrees. As we head into the mid-morning and afternoon hours, we'll see those upper 80s once again, but something that we'll also see is that UV index. Storms or not, that sun will be shining through, giving us a high UV index of 9 out of 10 for tomorrow. So the burn time, 15 to 25 minutes. So pretty quickly, if you're outside, make sure you're getting that sunscreen or staying in the shade as much as possible. But we also have a lot going on off to our west in terms of drier conditions. The drought still continues. We'll see our updated map here pretty soon here, but Howard and Sedan still in that exceptional range off to the west. in the Wichita region is where it's most significant. Now, into the next couple of days, Monday and Tuesday, we'll still see some isolated chances for some showers and storms here and there. Warm up into the upper 80s once again, and then those isolated showers and a couple thunder boomers will pop up once again into tomorrow. We'll see a little bit of a break, waking up to your Tuesday morning once again into the lower 60s, but then we'll see some scattered showers and storms once again, a couple in the metro, especially in southeastern Kansas. That's where the biggest chance will be, but still not a large chance by any means. They'll pop up really quickly and they'll dissipate really quickly. Then we'll see a break on Wednesday into Thursday. Here's a recap. We'll see our scattered showers and storms Monday and Tuesday. More of a chance on Monday than we see on Tuesday, only at 10%. But then into next weekend, we could see our second round of some isolated showers and storms. Nothing too severe, nothing too strong, but we can't rule out an isolated severe warm storm here and there, especially into tomorrow. So that'll be something to keep an eye on, but overall, nothing to cancel your plans for.
All right, well, I was taking my kids swimming tomorrow, but I may have to watch the weather and see where it's going to be at before I try to take them swimming.
Just get that radar app going.
Yeah, thank you. Speaking of that, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up in sports, there was plenty of Division I college baseball in the region.
Well, the Kansas City Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals are wrapping up their series today. Both teams come into today looking to break those losing streaks and to avoid the sweep on Sunday. Cardinals at the Pirates in PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Bottom of the first, Pirates get on the board. Ji-Wan Bae lines this up middle. Pirates score 2 runs on the play. Pittsburgh goes up 2-0. Third inning now, Rich Hill, the oldest active player in Major League Baseball, 43 years young, gets out of the jam right there with that fastball. Fourth inning now, swing and a whiff. Head to the fifth now, Nolan Gorman goes down on strikes. Father Time was no issue today. Hill finishes the day going 6 2/3 innings with 6 strikeouts, no earned runs either. So can St. Louis get back into the game? Seventh inning, Andrew Kisner, look out, cannonball coming, solo home run, Cards down 2-1. Top of the ninth now, last chance for St. Louis. David Bindar, how about 97 miles right in your grill? Pirates beat the Cardinals 2-1. Pittsburgh sweeps the series. Royals versus the Rockies in Kauffman Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Brady Singer on the mound. In the third, gets him looking there. Later in the inning, Singer again gets Ryan McMahon to go down strikes. Then in the fourth, former Royal Mike Moustakas swing and a miss. Singer goes 5 innings and strikes out 7 in the process. Bottom of the fifth now, no score. Michael Massey, 0-2 pitch into right field. RBI single. Royals go up 1-0. So then the tarp will come out and we'll have a short rain delay. But after that, we resume action. Bottom of the eighth now. Royals looking for some insurance runs. Michael Garcia, how about your first major league home run as an insurance run? That one barely gets over the wall. So let's check out the replay. Did he get it over? Yes, he did. So after the review, we will play on. Solo home run puts the Royals up 2-0. Then, bottom of the ninth, Scott Barlow on the mound. Try to close this one out. Need anything? Nope, just looking. Royals beat the Rockies 2-0 as they avoid the sweep. And the NCAA Division I college baseball regionals are wrapping up this weekend. Many of the local teams in the Division I area are in danger of their seasons coming to an end. We'll start things off in Charlottesville, Virginia. The Oklahoma Sooners are in an elimination game. 5th inning, down 3-1. Carter Cunningham going opposite field, long roll to the fence. Pirates go up 4-1. Next batter, Josh Moylan, line drive, base hit, brings home another run. ECU goes up 5-1. Still in the 5th, Pirates up 6-1. Jacob Jenkins Cowart, line drive on a rope all the way to the wall. And the Pirates take a commanding 7-1 lead. And we're not done. Again in the 5th, Pirates are turning this into a batting practice at this point. Justin Wilcoxon, RBI double. Sooners were unable to stop the bleeding. East Carolina goes on to beat Oklahoma 8-5. That puts an end to the Sooners' baseball season. Over to the Fayetteville Regional now. No, this is not a typo. The Arkansas Razorbacks lose to the TCU Horned Frogs 20-5. The Hogs will have to turn around and face Santa Clara in an elimination game, and due to the weather from yesterday, they'll have to play that elimination game tonight. So in that game, currently the Razorbacks are facing the Santa Clara Broncos. So far, we're still in progress, and Arkansas leads 3-0 in the third inning. And now let's take a look at the Women's College World Series tonight in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma State Cowgirls are looking to keep their season alive. Unfortunately, they're unable to do so, and the Cowgirls lose to the Tennessee Volunteers 3-1. That loss, the Cowgirls' season, or their team, has been eliminated from the playoffs. And tonight is Game 2 of the NBA Finals. The Denver Nuggets host the Miami Heat. The winner of the finals will make history no matter what. Denver's looking to win their first NBA championship. Meanwhile, Miami is looking to become the first team in NBA history to win the NBA title as an 8 seed. So far in this one, it's a dogfight. Denver leads Miami 73-70 in the third quarter. So after the game, win or lose, Game 3 of the finals will be this Wednesday in Miami. And final sports note, one thing I wanted to mention, Norma Hunt, the widow of the Kansas City Chiefs, Lamar Hunt, who is the founder of the Kansas City Chiefs, she passed away today, and she was 85, but a life well lived.
Yes, I saw that today. All right, well, thank you. We'll be right back. As American cities deal with a growing crime crisis, some are diverting money into programs dealing with mental illness. Cook County, Illinois has found success in combining mental health care with maintaining enforcement levels. Fox News senior correspondent Mike Taubin has more from Chicago.
What's going on? What's going on?
A frequent call for police response is a person in the throes of a mental health meltdown. The left has called for counselors to respond instead of cops, believing the counselor will be better skilled at de-escalation. But a counselor lacks the skills if the meltdown becomes violent.
5215 County.
Cook County is trying to solve the problem with technology as common as an iPad.
Treatment response team, this is Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. This is Officer Kelly.
With an instant FaceTime call, Cook County Sheriff's Police are connecting with clinicians kept on standby.
You can basically get a medical professional into that house that immediately de-escalates it.
When the response team was first put into use, Eli Pettigrew Montgomery was the clinician on call. A man was threatening to kill himself and his family, but he took the FaceTime call.
He was just locked in. And I was locked in with him, and we continued to talk, and he went in the ambulance, and that's what happened.
Let's go.
When the incident is diffused, the person who caused it is pulled into the mental health care system instead of criminal courts.
I didn't even know my rights.
Terry has a child now being treated in Cook County after years of trouble.
After they helped me, they reached out to me and asked me how they could be of further assistance.
Chicago suburban police forces like Northbrook, Illinois, are getting on board.
You don't have to lay hands on someone. That person doesn't get hurt. An officer doesn't get hurt. There's not bad feelings. The next interaction, there'll probably be a greater level of comfort.
The FaceTime connection has been used 373 times so far. In every case, the mental health professional has been able to talk down the person having the incident, resulting in 0 arrests. In Chicago, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
Up next, how a group of students in Florida built their own plane and were able to fly it. If you build it, they will fly. That is the case for one group of students in Florida. The Naples Youth Aviation Project built an experimental aircraft from a kit from South Africa. As Michelle Alvarez shows us, one of those students is now a pilot and got to take it in the air.
11 kids, all of them from the Naples area, made this. Yup, they built a plane. Not a jet you and I might fly in, but this is an experimental two-seater known as a Sling 2.
It feels amazing, and it's extremely satisfying feeling to know what you built is right in front of you, to see your work paid off.
I got really happy because it's something I really think I wanted to do for a long time. But I never really know how to get into the field of aviation.
The Naples Youth Aviation Project is a good place to start. The organization devised the plane to build this. Devin Wilson is another one of the lucky 11 and told me planes are in his blood. His dad's a pilot.
Yeah, I think that'll be my final goal, is to be able to fly with him in the same cockpit. So that'd be really great.
Garrett Sutton told me it took 3 years to build the plane, and because he's already got his pilot's license, he got to take her up in the air Friday afternoon. And in July, he plans to fly it to Oshkosh for a global fly-in convention.
Like you look at it and you're like, I did this, I did this, I did this. You know, it's you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it, and now you get to actually fly it. So that's a definitely unique opportunity I've been given.
Wow. I thought when they said they built a plane, it was like a remote control airplane. And no, it's like
a real plane.
Life-size airplane.
Imagine being able to build something and then just fly. Wow.
I don't know if I trust myself.
I wouldn't trust myself either.
All right. So tell us a little bit about the weather.
Yeah, so it's still going to continue to be warm the next couple of days, upper 80s. And we'll see a chance for some showers and storms Monday. Less of a chance on Tuesday, but still a chance nonetheless. And then our next chance for some showers and storms will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we'll get a break on Wednesday and Thursday. So really, if you need to mow your lawn, Thursday is the day to do so.
Yes. That's your excuse. You can wait till Thursday.
Yes.
All right, that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of cheetah cubs at the Australia Zoo. We'll see you right back here next time. Thanks for making us a part of your night.